Hi, everyone. I'm Vincent Joe.
Hi, I'm Kathy Reed.
And I'm Allison Reed.
Hi, I'm Ashley.
Hi, I'm Grace.
We're from the Haydenettes.
I am Mark Henretti.
Ciao a tutti, siamo Rebecca Ghirardi
e Filippo Ambrosini
e vi diamo il benvenuto a
This Week in Skating.
Welcome to This Week in Skating, the weekly podcast bringing you the latest news from the world of figure skating. Here are your hosts, Daphne, Gina, and Matteo.
And we're back. It's just Gina and I this week. Matteo had some other commitments, so we took the reins. But Matteo will be back next week.
Yes. So we're getting closer to the end of the season. We had World Junior Championships this past week. We also had the U.S. Synchronized Skating Championships. And so just a few more events to go. Worlds and World Synchros. And the season will be coming to an end very soon. Though I have to say, Daphne, my coworker saw me watching Junior Worlds this past week. And he goes, well, wait a minute, isn't the season over? You had the Olympics. And I was like, oh, no. We still have a few more events. But we are getting towards the end. The finish line is almost there.
Yeah, Gina. And in other news, the 2026 season has started because the solo dance series has started in the U.S. There are also international competitions going on for solo dance. And this all dovetails into the beginning of the national qualifying series for the U.S. because Dallas Classic and Lake Placid will be the first two events for the national qualifying series for partner dance. So even though the major part of the season as far as the ISU level competitions will be coming to an end, I'm gearing right up and continuing to go down that road.
That's for sure. Again, we always say there's no such thing as an off season. So just because this season is coming to an end doesn't mean we're not thinking about next season, because we just keep going and going. But before we really jump ahead to that off season, we do have some updates to the World Championship roster. One of the big ones is 2025 World Champion and new Olympic champion Alyssa Liu has withdrawn from the World Championships. Alyssa shared on Instagram the following: as some of y'all already know, I withdrew from Worlds. There's been a lot of exciting things happening since my return from Milan, so I'm taking some time for that. I will be cheering for everyone on from afar. See ya all next season. So that does mean we're going to get Alyssa next season. The way she's saying, I'll see you all next season. I'm thinking we're seeing another season of Alyssa Liu, but
I hope so. I feel like she's just getting started again, and I think her energy and enthusiasm is something we definitely need to see continuing on in skating.
Yes, definitely. Well, Alyssa has been replaced by second alternate Sarah Everhart. Brady Tennell was the first alternate. On Saturday, Brady posted the following message on Instagram: the decision to give up my spot was my own, and it wasn't one I made lightly. There was so much thought and many reasons. I wasn't passed over, and I'm thankfully not injured. Please don't mistake this for a retirement announcement, because that's not what this means. They are two entirely different decisions. Thank you for all of the concern and support. I'm doing well and very excited to cheer on the team from afar. Now, Phil Hirsch mentioned on Twitter that Brady let U.S. figure skating know before the Olympic women's singles event that they could remove her from consideration in order to give second alternate Sarah Everhart a heads up so she had more time to prepare. So that was a lot of what happened over the weekend with Alyssa withdrawing and then Sarah Everhart being named as her replacement, and then Brady Tennell responding to the fact that she was first alternate and she's not injured. She just chose not to take that spot.
So Madison Chalk and Evan Bates have also withdrawn. Evan had posted on Instagram that they felt what they put on the ice was the ending that they wanted for this season. They were happy with their performances at the Olympics. They have been replaced by Caroline Green and Michael Parsons, who were first alternates to Worlds. Reigning world bronze medalists Sarah Conti and Niccolo Macchi of Italy are also out for Worlds, and there is no replacement that has been named. As of our recording date and time, which is Monday, March 9th, there have been no other changes to the rosters. What this means is the only 2025 world champion that's planning to compete in Prague is Ilya Malinin. Also, Laurence Fournier-Beaudry and Guillaume Cizeron are the only 2026 Olympic champions from individual events that are planning to compete in Prague. You know, Gina, speaking of Alyssa, she shared a story on Instagram that kind of scared me a little bit. She said that she was met at the airport by a crowd of enthusiastic fans, but one of them chased her to her car. And so she shared this message and she said, please don't do that. And what I wanted to share is this. It's never okay to do this. And I understand that she has gained legions of new fans with her fresh attitude and her skating performances, but it's never okay to do this to anyone. You shouldn't be chasing people to their cars in general. And so I feel like that message needs to be amplified.
Yeah, and she's only 20 years old. I think people forget that a little bit, but yeah, no one should be chasing anybody to their car, regardless if you're an Olympic medalist or not. Like,
exactly.
I don't want to be chased to my car leaving a rink or leaving anywhere. So,
exactly.
Yeah, common sense, people. Let her be. If you see her from afar and you would like to wave and say hello, fine, but don't, or try to go up and get an autograph or a photo, but don't
chase her to her car.
No. If she looks like she needs to be going somewhere and she's in a hurry, leave her alone. Leave her alone.
Yeah.
Well, Ilya Malinin wins the Fair Play Award for his instant support of Olympic gold medalist Mikhail Shidorov, Yuma Kageyama for his support of Shun Sato, and Amber Glenn for her support of Kaori Sakamoto were also nominated.
Stars on Ice, the U.S. edition, has added to its roster Andrew Torgashev, Emily Chan and Spencer Howe, and Ellie Cam and Danny O'Shea.
And if you haven't gotten tickets for Stars on Ice yet, don't wait too long because shows are selling out. Just want to throw that out there. If you're thinking about going, get your tickets because shows are selling out and we haven't seen this happen for Stars on Ice tours in a very long time. So just throwing it out there. Japan's Wakaba Higuchi, as expected, has officially retired. She made a post today on Instagram. Wakaba is a 2022 Olympian and was part of Japan's Olympic silver medal winning team. I'm going to miss seeing her compete next season. She was always a joy to watch. So all the best to Wakaba.
Yes, I enjoyed her too. I'm glad that we got to see her in person at Worlds last year in Boston because it was very special. I also got to see her at Skate America. She didn't have the skates that I think she wanted to have there, but with Wakaba, the jumps are lovely when they're on, but it's also the performance quality that is just so above and beyond. And so we'll definitely miss that presence. Fan voting is now open for the 2026 ISU Figure Skating Awards. You can vote for Best Costume, Most Entertaining Program, Best Choreographer, and Best Coach.
Well, David Botero, the 2014 U.S. Novice Pairs Champion, has been issued temporary restrictions by the Center for Safe Sport. No unsupervised coaching, training, no contact directives for allegations of misconduct.
Well, moving on to event results and coverage. So Junior Worlds took place last week. We're going to be talking about that right now. It's interesting because a discussion has started about the number of entries that were in the junior women's and men's event because, was it 51?
Yeah, it was 51, but there was one that withdrew. So it was 50 that competed. 9 warm-up groups.
Wow. That's a full day.
It's a full day. I don't know how Ted and Mark did it, because I surely wasn't watching 9 groups. But it just begs the question is, when is too many? When is it too many? You know, it's great. We know that the junior level is the development level and you want skaters to have the opportunity to compete. But when do you just cut it off? Or do you do qualifying to get into it? So that way you still give the opportunity to these athletes.
Is it a case that the benchmarks have to be raised? Potentially, but then also you don't want to cut out the small federations.
Right.
And the valuable experience. It's a very tough thing to consider. There were 30 dance teams, I believe. Mm-hmm. And only a couple of pairs were cut.
Only 2 pairs teams were cut, which was...
Yeah, so there's a difference between the two. So I'm wondering if maybe they need to raise the score that's needed to qualify. Well, cool thing. Last year's Junior World Champion, Noemi Mariatali, was there watching the competition. So that was cool.
Yeah. And I think, if I remember, Nina Potrikina was also there. Of course, the championships was being held in her home country, but I believe Ted and Mark talked to her during the women's event. So there were some others that were around, watching the event as well. So we will start with the men, and Rio Nakata takes home his second Junior World title. We said before this was going to be a battle between him and Min-Kyu So. Rio came out on top. He was the only skater in the men's event to perform 2 clean programs. In the kiss and cry after the free skate, Rio held up a photo of him and Canada's Grayson Long. They are good friends, and Grayson was injured before Junior Worlds and couldn't compete, so that was a nice moment. Rio, this is going to be it for him. He is moving up to the senior ranks, so this was a great way to end his junior career. And look forward to seeing what he's going to be able to do on the senior circuit next season. A silver went to Min-Kyu So of Korea. He claimed his 2nd consecutive silver medal and his 3rd consecutive podium finish after he won gold in 2024. Again, we said it was going to be a battle between the two, so I'm not surprised that we had Rio and Min-Kyu as gold and silver. But then I really wasn't sure who was going to take the bronze. And it went to Taiga Nishino of Japan in his first Junior Worlds trip. A little of a surprise for me. I didn't think he was going to take the bronze. I thought maybe Jacob Sanchez was going to be able to do it. But Jacob finished 4th for the 2nd year in a row, and Lucius Kaznicki of the United States finished 6th. So that means Team USA will have 3 spots for next year's Junior Worlds. They also earned the maximum entries for the U.S. men on the Junior Grand Prix, 2 at each of the 7 events. Lucius said in his post-skate interview with Golden Skate that he is moving up to the senior level next season. Jacob posted today on Instagram, looking back, that he was a little disappointed that he wasn't able to medal at his last junior event as well. He is going to be solely senior next season. So, though a little disappointment for Jacob, I mean, getting those 3 spots for the U.S. men for next year's Junior Worlds is great. And the maximum entries for the Junior Grand Prix too is great as well. So, you got to look at a little bit of success despite the disappointment. Japan and Korea will also have 3 spots at Junior Worlds next season and the maximum entries on the Junior Grand Prix as well. So, it was a great men's event. I'm very happy for Rio. I thought his skates were outstanding this weekend. Or this week. He set records, with the highest score, I believe, short program, and then the total score. So great at men's event. We'll move on to the women now. And with the women, Mao Shimada wins her 4th junior world title. She remains unbeaten in her junior career, which started in the fall of 2022. She's been on the junior circuit for 4 seasons. It's crazy to think, but this was the end because she will be moving up to seniors next year. Now, Mark and Ted mentioned that she was sick and had a really bad practice before the free skate. She couldn't land anything. She didn't attempt a triple axel in practice. They actually wondered if she was going to compete or if she was going to withdraw. But according to the ISU, she was bedridden on Friday and thought about withdrawing, but felt better Saturday and decided to compete. So she did land a triple axel, but finished second in the free skate as she had 2 jumps called on the quarter, and her flying change foot combination spin was a level 2, which that's very unlike Mao to get a level 2 on a spin. So she did say this was her last competition on the junior level. She's moving up to senior, and I am looking forward to seeing how she is going to do on that senior circuit. It's much overdue. We've been waiting for her to move up to senior, and now she can finally do so because she has turned that rightful age of 17. Silver. Oh, wow. That was exciting. Silver went to Hannah Bath of Australia, who made history by winning the silver medal, as it is the first for Australia in single skating at the ISU World Junior Championships. Australia has only won a medal in pairs. Hannah won the free skate. She landed a triple axel, triple toe. Her only mistake was a step out on her second triple axel. She earned a personal best score to move up from 3rd after the short program to claim the silver. She will be staying on the junior level next season as she is not old enough to move up to seniors, but she is one to definitely be watching next season. I mentioned her in my preview on Figure Skaters Online because I had a feeling that she could either medal or skate really well. So, really good for her and really good for Australia because it has been a while that we've seen an Australian woman skate well. So bronze was won by Mayuko Oka of Japan. She was in second after the short program. She also attempted a triple axel. So your top 3 in the women's event attempted triple axels. Unfortunately, Mayuko fell on hers. She was in 4th after the free skate, but managed to claim the bronze medal in her first Junior Worlds appearance. She was 6th at the Junior Grand Prix final. So she was someone who was in the mix, I thought, for a potential medal. And as I mentioned, Hannah will stay juniors next season. Same thing for Mayuko. She is also 16 and cannot move up to the seniors circuit. Sophia Shefrin of Israel was 3rd in the free skate and finished 4th overall. China's Yayin Wang placed 5th, followed by Inga Jurjanensi of Georgia finishing 6th. Mi Okada, who won the bronze at the Junior Grand Prix final, she had a rough short program and was in 24th. She had the 5th best free skate and finished 10th overall. She did an Adam Siho Him Fa movement. She didn't medal, but she still went from 24th to 10th overall. So congrats to her on that. Angela Schau and Sophia Jolene von Felten finished 9th and 12th respectively for the U.S. That means the U.S. will only have 2 spots for next year's Junior Worlds. Japan will have 3 spots. Others that will have 2 are Australia, Israel, China, Georgia, Korea, and Switzerland.
It's worth mentioning, too, that Japan, Australia, and Israel will be the 3 countries that have 2 or max out on the spots for the JGP series next year. Well, in pairs, Eva Kemp and Jonathan Elizarov won the gold medal. This is their first medal at Junior Worlds. This is their 4th appearance. They are the first Canadian pair to win the title since Barbara Underhill and Paul Martini in 1978. Wow, almost 50 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
They were joined on the podium by Jasmine DeRocher and Kieran Thrasher. This is their first medal at Junior Worlds. They were 8th last year. And then the bronze was a little bit of a surprise. Hannah Herrera and Ivan Kopta of Ukraine. They've only been together since last June, and this was just their 4th international competition. Hannah is a former U.S. single skater, and Ivan was the 2023 World Junior Bronze medalist with Violetta Sirova. They train in Colorado Springs with Drew Meekins and Natalia Miskichenik and Philippe Zalewski. Olivia Flores and Luke Wang finished in 5th, with Reagan Moss and Jakob Galbavi finishing in 8th, so they earned 3 spots for U.S. pairs at next year's Junior Worlds, and the maximum entries on the JGP 3 at 4 events. Canada, China, and Ukraine will also have 3 spots at Junior Worlds next year, and the maximum entries on the JGP. In dance, only .14 separated the top 2 teams after the rhythm dance. That was a little bit of a surprise, but not really if you follow junior dance, because you know that these teams are just building momentum on the JGP, and by the time they get to Junior Worlds, it can be much closer than what it might seem. The top 3 overall were only separated by exactly 1 point. The gold medal went to Hanna Maria Aboyan and Daniil Veselukin. They became the 13th U.S. ice dance team to win the World Junior Championships. They were 7th at last year's event. And I think I mentioned early on in the season or after last year's Junior Worlds that there were a lot of either moving up to senior, breakups, aging out. So there were a lot of new faces at this competition this year. So that was a ton of fun. Silver medal went to Ambre Perrier Giannassini and Samuel Blanc Clapperman of France. They were 10th last year, moving up to silver medal position. The bronze medal went to Irina Pagaina and Artem Koval of Ukraine. They had one of the most emotional reactions, both after they finished the free skate, where he basically laid on the ice and did ice angels. And then in the kiss and cry when their scores were read, you could just tell how much it really meant to them, how emotional it was. They skated, I think, much better at this competition versus the Grand Prix final. They were 4th last year. 4th place, Leila Van and Alexander Brandis of Canada, followed by Dania Mouadin and Theo Bajot of France, who finished in 5th place. In terms of next season, the U.S., France, and Italy will each have 3 spots at next year's World Junior Championships. Ukraine, Canada, Germany, Czech Republic, and Austria will have 2. The U.S., France, and Ukraine will be able to send 2 ice dance teams to each of the 7 JGP events next season. Now that, I haven't checked to see if there's going to be a JGP in France. I haven't confirmed or anything. If that's the case, they would be able to send a 3rd team because that's customary with countries that are hosting JGPs. Of the teams in the top 10, 3 of them, Irina Pagaina and Artem Koval, Leila Vayon and Alexander Brandis, and Anita Straub and Andreas Straub, will age out of juniors. Given the closeness of the scores between the top 2 and then some of the others, I think we're going to see a lot of exciting competition next year. That is if Ambre and Samuel decide to stay junior. They can move up to senior. They're age eligible to move up to senior, but they still have junior eligibility. A boy and a Veselukin cannot move up yet because Hannah Maria is, I think, 15, and so it's going to be a little bit more time for them. It's very exciting. I really enjoyed watching all of the performances throughout this whole World Junior Championships. And I think coming off the Olympics, you might think that, oh, well, you watched a lot of skating, so you must be tired. No, I love watching the next generation. It's just so exciting. And this ice dance competition was just a ton of fun for me. And I really enjoyed just watching kind of the swan song for some of the other athletes that will be leaving junior and going to senior next year. We're going to see some retirements in the senior level, and I'm excited for these juniors because you know they're hungry and scrappy, and they're just going to go for it.
Yes, definitely. And who said they're tired of watching skating? Because literally I decided to watch another event on top of Junior Worlds. So I guess I'm not tired of skating.
Neither am I. Neither am I. Just saying, I was super excited.
Yeah. So
super excited for this.
Yeah. So the other event that I watched this past week was the 2026 U.S. Synchronized Skating Championships. And I would love to get to a U.S. Synchros Nationals at some point. It just was not happening this season. So I was watching online, and of course the live stream was down for most of the junior short program, and I started flipping out. I only saw the first 4 teams, and then it came back for the final 2 teams, but I did go back and watch those performances. So we'll start with the seniors at US Synchros. The Haydenettes won their 16th straight 33rd overall U.S. title. Actually, it was a pretty close competition as they won the free skate only by 0.52 points. So, but they did have the third highest score in the history of U.S. Synchronized Skating Championships. They just are unstoppable, basically. They will compete at Worlds in April. They have competed at every World Championships since its inception in 2000, and they have won 7 medals, no gold yet. So maybe this will be the year that they can get that gold, and it would be the first for a U.S. Synchro team. So fingers crossed that they could do it in April. The Skyliners won their 5th silver medal. They had the higher element score in the free skate than the Haydenettes. It was 75.15 versus 74.86, and they missed winning the free skate by 0.52 points. They are heading to Worlds for the 3rd straight year, the 6th time overall. Miami University of Ohio senior varsity team took the bronze. They moved up from 4th after the short program. This is their 9th bronze medal, and they have been on the podium every year since 1994. It's just incredible.
Wow.
Some of these synchro teams, it's amazing. Teams Elite took the pewter medal. Now, Teams Elite last year had an Elite 12 team, so that means only 12 skaters, and they finished in 5th. This year they had a standard team, which is 16 skaters. This is their 2nd pewter medal. They won pewter in 2023. And with that Elite 12 versus standard team, because there's not a lot of Elite 12 teams, they kind of are all compete together at nationals. Moving on to juniors, Teams Elite, the individual member out of Illinois, the reigning world junior champions, won their 3rd consecutive U.S. title. The team skates to I Will Always Love You by Whitney Houston in the short program, and then they do Carmen in the free skate. You're going to hear Carmen again in a second. Teams Elite has been undefeated since January of 2025. They also made history as they set the record for the highest ever total score in the history of the junior event at the U.S. Championships. They crushed the previous best by more than 17 points. This week, they will look to defend their title at the World Junior Synchronized Skating Championships. The team was announced for Junior Worlds ahead of the National Championships just because the events are so close. I mean, they're competing back to back. At the World Junior Championships, Teams Elite will be joined by the Skyliners, who won their third straight silver medal at the National Championships. They had their best ever score at the U.S. Championships and have continued their streak of medaling at every U.S. Championships since 2015. They look to medal at Junior Worlds for the 5th straight year. They won silver in 2022 and then won bronze in 2023, 2024, and 2025. Now, I said Carmen for Teams Elite. The Skyliners also skate to Carmen for their free skate. They're different. It's not the same program, but I thought it was kind of interesting that both of the top U.S. junior teams are skating to Carmen. Now, the Skyliners are gangsters in the short program. It's kind of a fun program. The bronze medalists saw their first ever podium finish, and that would be the Northern Nuts, and they are out of Minneapolis. They're the True North Figure Skating Club, so they took home the bronze medal, and the pewter medal went to Team Image. They are out of Hackensack, New Jersey. They won the pewter medal for the 2nd straight year. Now, we'll mention the winners in the other categories. Collegiate went to Miami University of Ohio. I think it's their 24th collegiate title. It's crazy. Crazy. Again, these synchro teams that have just been dominant in their respective, disciplines and categories. It's just awesome. The winners of the adult category was DC Edge out of the Washington Figure Skating Club. Masters is Ice Danette's Tenacity out of the Desert Ice Skating Club of Arizona. Novice, Intermediate, and Juvenile went to Teams Elite, and this is the 2nd year in a row they have swept Novice, Intermediate, Juvenile, and Junior. So we had Danielle on last year along with 2 of her skaters from the junior team. And so Teams Elite is really looking to be a team or a synchro program, I should say, to watch for sure. And so we look forward to seeing what happens this coming week at Junior Worlds.
Okay, well, moving on to some solo dance. Magnolia Open kicked off the solo dance series. Gold went to Lucas Appel, silver went to Sarah Fuller, and bronze went to Margarita Polishuk. In junior, the gold went to Kirianne McReynolds, with silver going to Anna Zhu, and bronze went to Sanvi Shrivastava. The Howard E. Van Camp Invitational also took place. Jordan Brenna took the gold medal. She was the only competitor. And in junior, gold went to Christina Amat, silver went to Sophie Zhang, and bronze went to Cora Carruthers. We will have links to results from Sonia Henney Trophy, Neuchâtel Trophy, and Steel City Trophy in our show notes. So moving on to upcoming events for the week, we have the 2026 Denver Invitational Cup taking place in Highlands Ranch, Colorado. We have the Daugava Open Cup taking place in Riga, Latvia. And then we have the 2026 Coup de Bretems taking place in Kokoshire, Luxembourg.
And as I mentioned, we have the World Junior Synchronized Skating Championships taking place in Gdansk, Poland. I already mentioned some of the teams that we will be seeing, but Teams Elite of the U.S. looks to defend their title. They've been undefeated this season. We have Team Helsinki Fantastic, who won the silver medal. They have also won all of their events this season, so they are looking for that gold medal. They will have to face off with Teams Elite, though, for it, for sure. The Skyliners won the bronze last year. They will be at Junior Worlds as well. Also competing, we have Les Supreme and Nexus from Canada, and Les Supreme was 4th last year. And Finland also has the Valley Bay Synchro, who was 5th last year. There are 26 teams competing, so I will be following the coverage and, of course, will be helping Matteo recap it next week. He is going to be doing the episode by himself, but I will be helping him put in some notes that he could share with you all.
Well, moving on to online updates, I wanted to share I've noticed an increase in GoFundMes that have been posted from various skaters for various reasons. And so if you're on Instagram, you will see some of them. If you are able, please donate to help the skaters be able to achieve their goals. We're starting a new quad. And so it's the beginning of the next 4 years as we head into the French Alps in 2030. Star Andrews announced on Instagram that she is shooting a documentary titled Star Andrews Finds a Partner. We'll follow her journey as she searches for a pairs partner.
Well, Amber Glenn shared on Instagram that she was a presenter at the 37th GLAAD Media Awards on March 5th. She presented the award for Best New Outstanding TV Series, and the series that won was The Heated Rivalry. We all know that's a favorite for many, so that was really cool experience for Amber.
Helena Carhart announced on Instagram that she and Philip Bojanowski have ended their partnership and she's looking for a new partner.
Well, we've mentioned her at the beginning of the podcast, and she is all over every form of media you can possibly find out there. Alyssa Liu was the cover story for Teen Vogue. She was also in the Rolling Stone magazine. I think she was on Good Morning America or mentioned on Good Morning America this morning. She's all over the place. So we will put links to Alyssa Liu Media in our show notes.
Yeah, the title for the Rolling Stone article was, If I Didn't Hit Rock Bottom, I could not have gotten up. I read the article, Gina. She's very candid. And Alyssa is very candid. I think you get what you see with her. She's gonna speak her mind and do it her way. And so I wasn't really shocked by any of her answers. I guess, appreciated that she was sharing things so that were personal about her comeback. Well, our friend Selene over at Skate Infoglass did a number of interviews from the World Junior Championships, including team leader Stanik Jeanette. She interviewed Ambre Perrier Giannassini and Samuel Blunt Klapperman, as well as Dania Moadin and Theo Bijot, and Roman Telemac and Lucas Colon, and Louise Erhard and Mathis Pellegrini. So she did some great interviews. Check those out. I had to read them through a translator, but it's always just great to learn more about the competitors. Well, you know that we like to end every episode by shining a lens on what's going on our respective websites. At This Week in Skating, we have a store. You can support our podcast while rocking some cool swag. We also have some items available with IDC and FSO logos. You can also join our Patreon for access to ad-free episodes. Over at IDC, I have Eureka's photos from the World Junior Championships, as well as a recap from Junior Worlds that's coming from Matteo, and then a very in-depth interview with Brooke Tufts, who is somewhat of a trailblazer in U.S. solo ice dance. She retired in December. She's a multiple-time national final gold medal winner, and she had a lot to say. It was fun to do that interview with her, and so that's up at IDC. Gina, what about FSO?
Well, I have Robin's photos and my recap of the 2026 World Junior Championships. I also have my recap of the 2026 U.S. Synchronized Skating Championships, and then I will be doing some coverage this week of the 2026 World Junior Synchronized Skating Championships. So, yep, that's what's going on over at FSO.
Yes, we are reaching the end of the episode, and the end of the season is nigh. We only have a couple of episodes left for this season. And we hope that you will stick with us as we push through to the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yes, light at the end of the tunnel.
Until next time.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of This Week in Skating. Remember, you can keep up with us throughout the week by visiting our website at www.thisweekinskating.com. Connect with us on social media for additional updates. You can find us on Twitter at This Week in Skating without the E's, or Facebook, Instagram, and Threads at This Week in Skating. You got a burning question or feedback for Gina, Daphne, or Matteo? Reach out to us via social media or drop us an email at thisweekinskating@gmail.com. And if you're really enjoying the show and want to support us further, consider joining our Patreon community at patreon.com/thisweekinskating. Until next time, have a nice week.